Do you ever look back on that spell at Aston Villa and maybe think to yourself, if the relationship was a little bit more better, then there could have been a little bit more progression to get into that top four?
Yeah, it's a shame because Mr. Lerner and I got on very, very well for a long time together. We did, yes, and in fact, our final year working, we had actually we finished sixth again for the third consecutive year, got us into Europe, and trying to push for the top four. We weren't that far removed from it, and in fact had a referee in the League Cup final against Manchester United done the job. Phil Dowd, if he had done the job and sent Vidic off after 2 minutes in the game, I think we would have had won the League Cup against Manchester United. And even though they're managed by one of the great managers of all time, in Alex Ferguson, but I think we could have won that, and that would have been nice to put a trophy there as well too. And we finished with more points than we did the previous year, and there was definitely progression. We were in the semi-final of the FA Cup when Chelsea beat us, who went on to win it. And yes, and yeah, I could, in hindsight, yeah, you're talking about dealing with things. I think that I think both of us, myself and Mr. Lerner, could have dealt with the situation a wee bit better than we did do.
Do you ever, how does that work, Martin, in terms of maybe transfers, etc.? If you're kind of wanting to recruit players and then the owner might tell you that players have to leave and there's a bit of animosity between the both. How does that work?
Yeah.
Does that get personal, or I mean,
again, maybe I took things too personally, and James Milner was leaving the football club, and I felt that sometimes you do take things too personally. Well, other managers might. You'd interview 3 or 4 other managers, and they might have a totally different outlook to myself. But that was me. I probably took some things too personally. Really. James Milner, I brought him from Newcastle. I changed him from playing wide right-hand side to being a centre midfield player. He was a brilliant midfield player for us. And but of course, when he was moving to Manchester City, this was going to be a big move for him because we couldn't compete financially with them. And so that it was a bit of a bind. But overall, yeah, I just get back to the point. There's some things I could definitely, in hindsight now, which was a wonderful thing to have. Unfortunately, I'm not, like most people, not blessed with it. And so it would have been nice to have. We weren't that far off. Let me put it this way: we maybe a couple of signings, perhaps. I didn't think that. Some of the players playing youth team football were ready to play, step straight in and become overnight sensations at Aston Villa. I think that point has kind of been proved, really. And while we had a couple of really fine footballers, Mark Albrighton being one of them, who goes on to win the Premier League with Leicester City. That was great. Overall, the players they weren't ready. We needed if we were going to compete and try and get into the top 4, we needed perhaps 1 or 2 more senior players. Let me put it this way, at the football club. It wasn't. It didn't materialize. It wasn't to be, and it's a bit of a shame.
In terms of, maybe you mentioned in hindsight, would you ever look back and go, oh, what if? I know football's quite ruthless in industry and in the industry, and you can't probably let yourself think like that. But do you ever kind of look back at that experience in Villa and go, we were onto something? Just if they had a little bit more backing, that could have been a bit better.
Yeah, I think that anybody who tells you that they don't look back either are remarkable people or just telling fibs. I think that people do. I think that in fact, there was a film made called, was it Sliding Doors or something, I guess, or whatever it was, and we all have these moments, every single one of us that have been brought onto this earth, I should say, have these sliding doors moments that you feel as if, yeah, what if we had done this again? Can you look back and think, yeah, I wish now that really that myself and Mr. Lerner could have patched little differences together, put it and gone for one more big season, which in hindsight I should have done. I don't think that I think that again, I've often thought about it, that Villa, we could have made the top four, definitely. We had a number of excellent players who were playing at the top of their game at the time. And we just, but it was hard. It was difficult competing with Manchester United and Arsenal, whose spending power was quite something else. It was a league apart from us at the time. But we were competing, but we were still in there fighting with the Manchester Cities and the Tottenham. This is just probably before Manchester City exploded into a stratosphere. So, but overall, yeah, of course, everybody has sliding doors moments, and I bet I'm even talking to a young lad who has them.